Gave him a big hug. I said I thought it was really great what he was saying. He says, you know, I'm really serious about this. I mean, and if it goes to concert ratings, you know, what could happen? And I said, look, in San Antonio, they are trying to put these ratings on live concerts. And he says, oh my goodness, if I go down there, my concert would get a G. I said, that's right, Donnie.
Frank Zappa versus the Mothers of Prevention.
Meets
the Mothers of Prevention. The title of the new album in your stores now. Kind of a little touchy issue in that. You had to get a little legal advice on the situation.
Well, I've had legal advice all the way along. I mean, this, you know, you don't go into something like this without talking to somebody who knows something. I'm not a lawyer. I had a civics class in high school. I got out of that okay, but for this, you need a lawyer.
What we'll do is just let you hear just a couple of seconds of one of the cuts on the album. Then after you hear it, we'll come back and explain exactly what you've been listening to. To the audience, exactly what we heard.
Well, what you've heard is a song called Porn Wars, which is 12 minutes long. It's not all like that. It's in 3 different sections, and it uses the actual voices of the senators and Reverend Jeff Ling and Tipper Gore in the testimony made before the hearing on September 19th. This is all in the congressional record, and I just made a piece of music out of it. It really gets scary after a while. That's just the beginning. It gets really scary later. It's like a nightmare.
Is there a compromise in this whole issue?
Yeah, there is. Perfect compromise.
And that is?
I'll stop talking about it when they go home.
You're serious, too, when you say that.
I'm serious.
So in other words, what you're saying is unless you get your way and there are no ratings, you're not going to be satisfied. You'll continue to fight.
I can't control the record industry.
Do you fault the motives of these people?
Yes. I don't.
You don't think there are any good intentions at all?
Well, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe there are. But personally, my deep down feeling is this is not sincere. This is not sincere.
And what gives you that feeling?
Because there's a lot of money involved in it.
Explain that.
Well, this is tied up with a piece of legislation which in the House is called H.R. 2911 and in the Senate is called the Mathias Bill. And it's the blank tape tax. And because of the pressure put on the record industry by the wives of the senators and congressmen who will affect record industry legislation on this bill and other pieces of legislation, that's one of the reasons why the record industry agreed earlier to put some kind of a warning on a record. If the husbands of these women didn't have this power over a bill that was worth a lot of money to the record industry, I doubt whether the record industry would have paid any attention to them at all. It's been extortion.
What kind of feedback are you getting from your fans, from the kids out there, from the adults out there?
I would say that it's 99.999999 positive with all the mail and the comments that I've had from people in the street. I mean, there's been very little negative comment that's come to my mailbox or people that I've met on the street. I mean, nobody comes up to me and says, you know, stop it, you're crazy.
You have not stopped.
Literally
not stopped since this all began. All right, let's move 12 months down the road. How do you see the scenario in November 1986? Where do you think you'll be? What do you think the result will be of what's going on?
One thing that I will probably still be doing in '86 is based on who does what on this issue. I will try my best to help them reevaluate their career. I mean, certain people in the Senate and in the Congress who will be coming up for re-election at that time need a message from the American public in this age bracket, not necessarily from their parents, but kids need to realize that, is it the 26th Amendment that gives the 18-year-olds the right to vote? I think that's the one. It wasn't easy to get it. Now that you got it, what are you doing with it, you know? Go down to the post office, register to vote, because you can't vote till you register. And if you've already registered, you have to look at what's going on locally. Don't just wait for the presidential election every 4 years. Look at the local stuff and go out there and vote and take care of it.
The bottom line is we've barely scratched this issue. There's so much to talk about, so much to do, and so little time to do it in. I'd like to thank Frank Zappa for spending just a few minutes with us today. As he's told you, he's on the stump and he's got a very busy schedule. Feel free to address any comments you have to us. You can send them to us. We'll get them to Frank. He might like to see what you have to say.